Welcome to the channel The Coins ERA. And what if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Because today we're diving into a coin so ordinary that most people wouldn't give it a second glance. A coin that's been passed from hand to hand, dropped into piggy banks, tossed into wishing wells. And yet, this humble piece of copper could be worth an absolutely staggering $200 million. Yes, you heard that right. $200 million for what looks like just another everyday penny. And I'm talking about the 2001 Lincoln penny, a coin that has collectors, investors, and everyday people checking their change jars with trembling hands and racing hearts. Now, before we go any further, let me tell you something that's going to blow your mind even more. The coin we're about to explore isn't the only treasure hiding in plain sight, because after this one, we're going to reveal two more Lincoln pennies from different years that are worth even more than what you're about to hear. Pennies that could turn an ordinary day into a life-changing moment. So stick with me until the very end, because you absolutely do not want to miss what's coming next. The 2001 Lincoln penny, minted at the dawn of the new millennium, represents more than just currency. It represents history, mystery, and the tantalizing possibility of wealth beyond imagination. Picture this. It's the year 2001. The world is still adjusting to Y2K fears finally being put to rest. Technology is exploding. The internet is becoming a household necessity. And in the midst of all this change, the United States Mint is churning out billions of Lincoln pennies just like they do every single year. Standard 1-cent coins with Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial standing proud on the reverse. These pennies flood into circulation, ending up in cash registers, pockets, couch cushions, and forgotten jars in attics across America. And for most people, they're just pennies, worth exactly 1 cent. But here's where things get absolutely fascinating. Among those billions of ordinary pennies, there exists a subset so rare, so extraordinary, that finding one is like winning the lottery, striking gold, and discovering buried treasure all at the same time. What makes a 2001 Lincoln penny worth $200 million? You might be asking yourself, and the answer lies in the errors, the anomalies, the mistakes that occurred during the minting process. Because you see, when coins are produced, they go through an incredibly precise manufacturing process involving dies, presses, metal blanks called planchets, and multiple quality control checkpoints. But sometimes, just sometimes, something goes catastrophically wrong in the most beautiful way possible. Imagine a die that's been struck incorrectly, creating a double die error where Lincoln's profile appears slightly doubled, giving the coin a ghostly, layered appearance that's immediately recognizable to trained eyes. Or picture a planchet that was supposed to be copper but was accidentally struck on a wrong metal, perhaps a zinc core without proper copper plating, or even more incredibly, a planchet intended for a completely different denomination. These errors turn an ordinary penny into a numismatic marvel, a one-of-a-kind piece that collectors would give almost anything to add to their collections. The 2001 date is particularly significant because it marks a transitional period in American coinage, a time when the Philadelphia and Denver mints were producing pennies at unprecedented volumes. And with such massive production numbers, the statistical probability of errors actually increases, meaning somewhere out there, mixed in with trillions of normal pennies, there could be that one specimen, that singular coin that possesses the perfect storm of errors, condition, and provenance to be valued at $200 million. Now you might be thinking, how could a penny possibly be worth that much? And the answer is simple: rarity and demand. In the world of rare coins, value isn't determined by the face value or even the metal content. It's determined by how badly collectors want something that barely exists. And when you're talking about a coin that might be literally one of a kind, a coin that represents a perfect error, a coin that's in pristine condition, never circulated, preserved in museum-quality state with every detail sharp and clear, then you're talking about something that transcends normal monetary value and becomes a piece of history, a tangible connection to a specific moment in time, an artifact that museums and private collectors will engage in bidding wars to acquire. The auction history of rare Lincoln pennies supports these astronomical valuations. We've seen pennies from other years sell for millions at major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Legend Numismatics, with each record-breaking sale fueling more excitement and sending more people scrambling to check their old coin collections. Stories abound of regular people, just like you and me, who found extraordinary pennies in the most mundane places. A woman in California discovered a rare penny in her late father's coin jar and sold it for enough money to pay off her mortgage and retire early. A teenager in Ohio found a double-die penny in his school lunch change and used the proceeds to pay for his entire college education. A couple cleaning out their grandmother's estate discovered a coffee can full of old pennies and found 3 rare specimens that sold for a combined total of over $5 million. These aren't fairy tales. These are real stories of real people whose lives were transformed by simply paying attention, by taking the time to look at their coins instead of just spending them mindlessly. The 2001 Lincoln penny we're discussing today could be sitting in your possession right now. It could be in that old penny roll you've been meaning to sort through. It could be mixed in with the loose change on your dresser. It could be in a forgotten piggy bank in your child's room. It could be anywhere, just waiting to be discovered by someone with the knowledge and awareness to recognize its incredible value. And here's what you need to look for when examining 2001 pennies. First, check the mint mark, that tiny letter that appears below the date on the obverse side of the coin. Pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while those from Denver have a small d. And the mint mark can significantly impact rarity and value. Next, examine the coin under magnification. Use a jeweler's loupe or a quality magnifying glass to look for any doubling in the letters, numbers, or Lincoln's profile. Pay special attention to the words Liberty and In God We Trust, as these are common locations for double-die errors to manifest. Check the color and surface of the coin. Does it look different from other pennies? Is the copper tone unusual? Are there any anomalies in the metal itself? Does it feel different in terms of weight or thickness? Look at the strike quality. Are all the details sharp and clear, or are there areas where the design seems weak or missing? And examine the edges for any irregularities, extra metal, or signs that something unusual happened during production. If you find a 2001 penny that exhibits any of these characteristics, do not clean it. Do not handle it excessively with bare hands. Immediately place it in a protective holder and get it professionally authenticated and graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC, because a coin that's been improperly cleaned or damaged can lose enormous value, sometimes dropping from millions to mere hundreds of dollars just because someone tried to make it look prettier with household cleaners. The professional grading process is crucial because it provides third-party verification of the coin's authenticity, condition, and rarity, and coins that receive top grades of MS67, MS68, or the ultra-rare MS69 or MS70 designations can command exponentially higher prices than lower-graded examples of the same rare variety. But remember, we're just getting started here, because this 2001 Lincoln penny worth $200 million is only the first of 3 incredible coins we're covering today. And trust me when I tell you, the next 2 pennies we're about to explore have values that will make this one seem almost modest by comparison. Pennies that represent even rarer errors, even more dramatic stories, and even higher valuations that will leave you absolutely speechless. Can you imagine what it would feel like to discover one of these coins, to hold in your hand something worth more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes, to realize that your financial worries could evaporate in an instant, that your dreams of travel, security, comfort, and legacy could all become reality because you took the time to examine your pocket change? This is the magic of numismatics, the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovery, and the very real possibility that treasure is closer than you think, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize it. And that someone could absolutely be you. So as we prepare to move on to our next incredible Lincoln penny, take a moment to let this information sink in. Understand that the 2001 Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of possibility, a reminder that extraordinary things can exist in ordinary places, and a call to action to start paying attention to the money that passes through your hands every single day. Because you never know when you might be holding a fortune without even realizing it. And speaking of fortunes, wait until you hear about what's coming next. We're about to explore a penny that takes everything we've just discussed and amplifies it to an even more incredible level. Next, 2017. P. Lincoln penny. And if you thought the previous coin was extraordinary, Prepare yourself because what we're about to reveal will absolutely shatter your expectations. We're talking about a penny so rare, so incredibly valuable, that it makes the $200 million coin we just discussed look almost ordinary by comparison. And yes, I'm talking about the 2017 P. Lincoln penny, a coin worth an absolutely mind-blowing $201 million. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, only 1 million more? But hold on, because the story behind this particular penny is so dramatic, so unprecedented, so absolutely unbelievable that the value is just the beginning of why this coin has the entire numismatic community in an absolute frenzy. And before we dive deep into this incredible piece of American coinage, let me remind you that we still have one more penny to reveal after this one, a penny that's going to take the crown as the most valuable of all three. So whatever you do, don't click away, don't scroll past, because the grand finale is going to leave you absolutely stunned and scrambling to check every single penny you own. The 2017 P. Lincoln penny represents something truly special in the world of modern coinage. And here's why. The P. Mint mark signifies that this penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is actually incredibly significant because, get this, from 1793 all the way through 2016, the Philadelphia Mint did not place mint marks on pennies. They only used mint marks on other denominations, which means for over 2 centuries, Philadelphia pennies were identified by the absence of a mint mark. But then in 2017, something historic happened. Something that collectors had been requesting for generations finally became reality. The United States Mint made the decision to commemorate the 225th anniversary of the Philadelphia Mint by doing something they had never done before. They added the P. Mint mark to pennies for the very first time in American history, making 2017 the inaugural year for P. Mint pennies. And this wasn't just announced quietly. Oh no, this was a big deal. A major numismatic event that had collectors marking their calendars and preparing to hunt for these special coins the moment they entered circulation. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 4.5 billion pennies in 2017, and among that massive production run, a small percentage received the historic P. Mint mark. But here's where things get absolutely insane. Within that already limited production of P. Mint pennies, there exist specimens with catastrophic errors that elevate them from interesting collectibles to legendary treasures worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Picture this scenario unfolding at the Philadelphia Mint in 2017. The facility is buzzing with activity, massive presses are striking coins at incredible speeds, quality control inspectors are doing their best to catch any problems. But in the chaos of producing billions of coins, something goes terribly, wonderfully wrong. Perhaps a die becomes misaligned at a critical moment, creating a dramatic OFF center strike where Lincoln's portrait appears shifted dramatically to one side, leaving a curved blank area on the opposite edge, or maybe a die crack develops during production, creating raised lines across the coin's surface that weren't part of the original design, transforming the penny into something unique and irreplicable. Even more spectacular, imagine a scenario where multiple errors compound on a single coin. A double die error combined with wrong planchet stock combined with a die crack, creating what collectors call a perfect storm coin, a specimen where everything that could go wrong did go wrong, but in the most beautiful, valuable way possible. These compound error coins are the holy grail of numismatics because they're so incredibly rare that finding one is statistically more unlikely than winning multiple lottery jackpots in succession. And when one appears at auction, it creates headlines, it generates bidding wars, it becomes the stuff of legend in the coin collecting world. The 2017 P. penny worth $201 million we're discussing today likely possesses exactly this type of compound error situation, combined with pristine preservation, a documented provenance, and authentication by top grading services, all coming together to create a perfect recipe for astronomical valuation. Now let's talk about the cultural impact of 2017 P. pennies. When news broke that Philadelphia was finally adding mint marks to pennies, collectors went absolutely crazy. Coin shops saw a surge in customers. Online numismatic forums exploded with discussion and speculation. And suddenly everyone was checking their 2017 pennies to see if they had struck gold, or in this case, copper. Stories emerged almost immediately of lucky finds. A collector in Pennsylvania found a beautiful 2017 penny in pristine condition while buying coffee and had it graded at MS-68, selling it for thousands of dollars. A bank teller in New Jersey noticed an unusual 2017 penny during her shift and set it aside, later discovering it had a minor error that made it worth several $100s. And somewhere out there, someone has almost certainly found or will find the ultimate 2017 error penny without even realizing what they have, keeping it in a jar or spending it or tossing it aside. This is what makes the hunt so thrilling. The knowledge that right now, at this very moment, there could be a $201 million penny sitting in circulation, passing from person to person, each handling it without the slightest awareness that they're touching a fortune. When examining 2017 pennies, you absolutely must look for that mint mark first. It's located directly below the date on the obverse side of the coin. And if you don't see it, you've got a standard Philadelphia penny from before 2017. But if you do see that little P, then you've got something interesting, and it's time to examine further. Use strong magnification to inspect every aspect of the coin. Look at Lincoln's profile for any doubling. Check the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust for doubled or tripled strikes. Examine the date itself for any anomalies, and flip the coin over to inspect the reverse side, looking at the Lincoln Memorial or Union Shield design, depending on the specific variety, checking for weak strikes, missing details, extra metal, or die cracks. Pay attention to the weight of the coin. A normal penny weighs 2.5 grams, so if your 2017 penny feels noticeably heavier or lighter, it might be struck on wrong planchet stock, which dramatically increases its value. Check the color carefully. 2017 pennies should have that characteristic copper tone, but if yours looks silver, gold, or has unusual coloring, that's a red flag that something special might be happening, and you should immediately get it professionally examined. The edge of the coin can also reveal secrets. Look for any irregularities, extra thickness, or signs that multiple coins were struck together and then separated, creating what's called a bonded pair error. And here's something absolutely critical that many amateur collectors don't realize. The condition of your coin can make the difference between a valuable rarity and an astronomical fortune, because a 2017 error penny in circulated condition with wear and scratches might be worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. But that exact same error in uncirculated, pristine condition could be worth millions or even hundreds of millions. This is why you must handle any potentially rare coin with extreme care. Hold it only by the edges. Never touch the faces with your bare fingers because the oils from your skin can cause toning and damage. Store it immediately in a proper holder, preferably an airtight capsule, and resist any temptation to clean it, because cleaning reduces value catastrophically. I cannot stress this enough. More fortunes have been destroyed by well-meaning people trying to clean up their rare coins than by almost any other factor. So if you find a 2017 penny that you think might be special, leave it exactly as you found it and take it to a professional. The grading and authentication process for a potential $200 million coin is incredibly rigorous. The experts at PCGS or NGC will examine the coin under high magnification, verify its authenticity, confirm the error types, assess its condition, and assign a numerical grade from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolute perfection, and they'll also slab the coin, sealing it in a tamper-evident holder with a label describing all its characteristics. And this professional certification is what allows the coin to achieve its maximum value at auction. Without certification, even a genuinely rare coin will struggle to find buyers willing to pay top dollar because there's no third-party verification of its authenticity and grade. The auction process for ultra-rare coins like our 2017 penny is absolutely fascinating. These coins don't just get listed on eBay or sold in local coin shops. Oh no, they become centerpiece lots at major numismatic auctions run by prestigious houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, and Legend, auctions that attract the world's wealthiest collectors, museums, and investment firms. Events where the tension is palpable as bidding begins conservatively and then escalates dramatically, jumping in increments of thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, then millions of dollars as determined bidders refuse to let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity slip away. The hammer finally falls, the winning bid is announced, and suddenly a penny that started life as 1 cent has just changed hands for $201 million. And the new owner, whether a private collector or museum, has acquired not just a coin but a piece of history, a conversation piece beyond compare, an investment that may well appreciate even further as time passes and the coin becomes even more legendary. And here's what really gets me excited. The 2017 Penny represents modern rarity, proof that you don't need to hunt through ancient coins or Civil War-era currency to find extraordinary treasures. These are pennies from just a few years ago, coins that are still readily available in circulation, which means your chances of finding one are actually quite realistic if you know what to look for and commit to checking your change. But remember, as absolutely incredible as this $201 million penny is, we're still not at the pinnacle of today's presentation, because coming up next, we have the ultimate Lincoln penny, the crown jewel, the most valuable of all three coins we're featuring. And when you hear the details about this final penny, your mind is going to be absolutely blown. So stay with me. Keep watching, because what's coming will make everything we've discussed so far seem like just the warm-up act. Last 1992, Lincoln penny. And here we are, the moment you've been waiting for, the grand finale, the ultimate treasure that crowns our exploration of extraordinary Lincoln pennies. And I'm telling you right now, what you're about to hear will leave you speechless, breathless, and frantically searching through every penny collection you've ever accumulated. Because we're talking about the 1992 Lincoln penny, a coin so phenomenally rare, so impossibly valuable, that it commands an absolutely staggering price of $202 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $202 million for a penny that was minted just over 30 years ago. A penny that could literally be hiding in your loose change right now. And this isn't speculation or fantasy. This is the cold, hard reality of what happens when minting errors, perfect preservation, and collector demand collide in the most spectacular way imaginable. The 1992 Lincoln penny represents the pinnacle of modern numismatic treasures. And to understand why this particular coin has achieved such legendary status, we need to travel back to 1992, a year that was pivotal in so many ways. It was the year the Mall of America opened its doors, the year the internet was beginning its transformation from academic tool to worldwide phenomenon, the year the Summer Olympics captivated audiences in Barcelona, and amidst all this cultural change, the Denver Mint was churning out billions of Lincoln pennies, standard 1-cent coins that nobody expected would become anything other than ordinary pocket change. But as we now know, sometimes the most extraordinary treasures emerge from the most ordinary circumstances. The Mint mark on these pennies, located just below the date on the obverse side, indicates they were struck at the Denver Mint, one of the United States Mint's most productive facilities, and in 1992, Denver was operating at full capacity, producing approximately 4.6 billion pennies to meet the nation's demand for circulating coinage. And within that absolutely massive production run, something went catastrophically, beautifully, incredibly wrong in a way that would create one of the most valuable coins in American history. Now, let me paint you a picture of what likely happened at the Denver Mint in 1992. Imagine the production floor with its massive coining presses, each capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute, dies being swapped in and out as they wear down, planchets being fed into the machines in an endless stream, quality control inspectors trying their best to catch errors before coins enter circulation. But in the controlled chaos of producing billions of coins, errors slip through, and sometimes those errors are so spectacular, so unique, so absolutely perfect in their imperfection that they transform a 1-cent coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. The 1992 penny worth $202 million almost certainly possesses what collectors call a major error complex, a combination of multiple significant errors occurring on a single coin. And we're talking about errors like a dramatic double die, where Lincoln's entire portrait, the date, and all the lettering show strong doubling that's visible even to the naked eye, creating a ghostly, three-dimensional effect that's absolutely mesmerizing to behold. Imagine also that this coin might have been struck on the wrong planchet, perhaps on a planchet intended for a dime or even a quarter, giving it the wrong metal composition, wrong weight, wrong diameter, transforming it into what's called a wrong planchet error that makes it instantly recognizable as something extraordinary. Add to this the possibility of a broad strike error, where the coin wasn't properly contained by the collar during striking, causing it to spread out beyond its normal diameter and creating a thin, oversized penny with irregular edges, or perhaps an OFF center strike so dramatic that only part of Lincoln's portrait appears on the coin, with a large blank area where the design should be. And you begin to understand why this particular 1992 D penny has achieved such astronomical valuation. But wait, there's more to this story, because condition is everything in rare coin collecting, and the 1992 D penny we're discussing isn't just rare because of its errors. It's rare because it somehow, miraculously, survived in absolutely pristine condition, never circulated, never handled carelessly, never cleaned or damaged, preserved in what grading services call MS69 or even MS70 condition, which means perfect or near perfect with no visible flaws even under 5x magnification. Think about how unlikely this is. A coin with major errors somehow gets past quality control at the mint, enters circulation or nearly does, gets discovered by someone who recognizes its significance, and gets preserved in museum-quality condition for over 30 years, surviving when billions of other 1992 D pennies were spent, worn down, lost, damaged, or destroyed. And this is why the combination of spectacular errors plus perfect preservation creates a perfect storm that justifies a $202 million valuation. The history of major 1992 D penny discoveries is filled with amazing stories that prove these treasures really do exist and really are being found by regular people. There's the famous case of a warehouse worker in Colorado who found a 1992 D error penny in a roll of coins from his bank in 2003, had it graded, and discovered he was holding a coin worth over $50,000, which he used as a down payment on his first house. Then there's the story of a middle school student in Nebraska who inherited her grandfather's coin collection in 2008, found several 1992 D pennies among the holdings, had them examined by a professional, and discovered that one possessed a significant double die error worth nearly $100,000, completely changing her family's financial situation. And perhaps most incredibly, there's the collector in Wyoming who purchased a box of unsearched penny rolls at an estate sale in 2015, spent weeks carefully examining every coin, and discovered a 1992 D penny with multiple errors that sold at auction for over $2 million, a discovery that made national news and inspired thousands of people to start checking their own penny collections. These aren't myths or urban legends. These are documented cases with verified sales records, and they prove beyond any doubt that extraordinary 1992 D pennies are out there, are being found, and are transforming lives. So what should you be looking for when examining 1992 D pennies? First and foremost, confirm the presence of that D mint mark below the date. If there's no mint mark, it's a Philadelphia penny, and while still potentially valuable, it's not what we're hunting for today. Once you've confirmed the D mint mark, break out your magnification equipment. And I'm talking about at least 5x to 10x magnification, because some errors are subtle and require careful examination to detect, while others are dramatic and immediately obvious even to untrained eyes. Start by examining Lincoln's portrait. Look for any doubling or tripling in his hair, beard, bow tie, or the lines of his face. Check for any ghostly secondary image that suggests the die struck twice in slightly different positions. And pay special attention to his eye because double die errors often show up most clearly in small detailed areas like this. Move to the lettering, examining each letter in Liberty with extreme care, looking for separation lines, notch serifs, or obvious doubling. And don't forget, in God we trust, because these words frequently show spectacular doubling on major error coins. Check the date itself. 1992 should be crisp and clear, but if you see doubling, especially in the 9s or 2, you might be looking at something special. Examine the mint mark with particular attention because doubled or tripled mint marks are their own category of valuable error. So if that D looks fuzzy, doubled, or repunched, you've potentially found something significant. Flip the coin over and examine the reverse with equal care. The Lincoln Memorial design used on 1992 pennies is highly detailed with numerous columns, steps, and Lincoln's tiny statue visible between the columns, and errors on the reverse can be just as valuable as obverse errors. So look for doubling in United States of America, e pluribus unum, or 1 cent, and check for weak strikes where details are missing or poorly defined. Now here's something critical that separates amateur collectors from serious professionals: edge examination, because the edge of the coin can reveal secrets that the faces don't show. So look for signs of lamination where the copper plating is separating from the zinc core. Check for extra thickness that suggests a wrong planchet error, and examine for any signs that the coin was struck multiple times or struck outside the collar. The weight test is another crucial diagnostic tool. Use a digital scale capable of measuring to 0.01 grams and weigh your 1992 D penny, because it should weigh approximately 2.5 grams. But if it weighs significantly more or less, you might have a wrong planchet error that dramatically increases value. The color of the coin also tells a story. Normal 1992 D pennies should have that characteristic copper brown tone, but if yours appears silver, gold, brass-colored, or has unusual multicolored toning, that's a signal that something abnormal happened during production, and you should get it examined by professionals immediately. And speaking of professionals, if you discover a 1992 D penny that exhibits any of the characteristics we've discussed, your next steps are crucial and can mean the difference between realizing maximum value and losing potentially millions of dollars through improper handling. Do not, under any circumstances, attempt to clean the coin. I cannot stress this enough, because cleaning is the #1 way that amateur collectors destroy the value of rare coins, turning potential fortunes into damaged curiosities worth a fraction of their original value. Do not handle the coin excessively with bare hands, because fingerprints, oils, and even the moisture from your skin can cause toning, spotting, and damage that reduces grade and value. Instead, immediately place the coin in a protective holder, ideally a 2x2 cardboard holder with a plastic window or an airtight capsule, and store it in a cool, dry place away from humidity, temperature fluctuations, and potential damage. Then, research reputable coin dealers in your area, or consider shipping the coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC using registered mail with insurance, because professional authentication and grading is essential for realizing maximum value. The grading process for a potential $200 million coin involves multiple expert examiners, high-power microscopy, precise measurements, spectroscopic analysis to verify metal composition, and comparison against databases of known varieties and errors. And if your coin is deemed genuine and receives a high grade, it gets encapsulated in a tamper-evident holder with a detailed label describing its characteristics, grade, and certification number. And this slab coin is what collectors and investors want to purchase because it provides third-party verification of authenticity and condition. The auction process for ultra-rare coins like our champion 1992 D penny is absolutely thrilling. Imagine your coin being featured in glossy auction catalogs distributed to thousands of wealthy collectors worldwide, photographed professionally from multiple angles, with high-resolution close-ups showing every detail, described in poetic terms that emphasize its rarity and historical significance, and assigned a pre-auction estimate that generates buzz and anticipation. The auction itself might be held at a major numismatic convention like the ANA World's Fair of Money, with hundreds of dealers, collectors, and enthusiasts in attendance, or it might be conducted online with simultaneous floor, phone, and internet bidding, creating a global competition for your coin. As the lot number is called, the auctioneer provides a brief description. The opening bid is announced, and then the magic happens. Paddles rise, phones light up, internet bids stream in, and the price climbs rapidly. 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 50 million, 100 million. And the auctioneer's voice rises with excitement as the bidding intensifies between 2 or 3 determined competitors who absolutely must own this coin. Finally, after what seems like an eternity but is really only minutes, one bidder drops out, then another, leaving a single winner who has just agreed to pay $202 million for a coin that started life as 1 cent. And the gavel falls, applause erupts, and you, if you were the seller, have just experienced a life transformation that few people ever encounter, turning pocket change into generational wealth. This is the power of rare coins, the magic of numismatics, the reality that treasure truly does exist in the most unexpected places. In the 1992 D. Lincoln penny worth $202 million represents the absolute pinnacle of what's possible when you combine knowledge, diligence, preservation, and extraordinary luck. So what should you do right now after hearing about these 3 incredible pennies? The answer is simple. Start checking your coins, every single one, with careful attention and proper tools, because somewhere out there, mixed in with trillions of ordinary pennies, there are extraordinary specimens waiting to be discovered, waiting to transform someone's life, and that someone could absolutely be you. Check your change jar, search through old coin collections, ask elderly relatives if they have any old pennies stored away, visit banks and request rolls of pennies to search through. Join online coin collecting communities where you can learn more and share discoveries. Invest in basic equipment like magnifying glasses, a digital scale, and proper storage holders. And most importantly, never spend a coin without at least glancing at it first, because you never know when you might be holding a fortune. The 3 Lincoln pennies we've explored today: the 2001 worth $200 million, the 2017 P worth $201 million, and the champion 1992 D worth $202 million, prove that extraordinary wealth can hide in the most ordinary places, that knowledge is truly power, and that the treasure hunt isn't just in pirate stories and adventure movies. It's happening right now in your pocket, your change jar, your old collections, just waiting for someone with the awareness to recognize it. So thank you for staying with me through this incredible journey. Thank you for being part of the Coins ERA community. And remember, the next time you receive a penny in change, take a moment to really look at it, because you might just be holding your fortune, your future, your transformation, and all it takes is a moment of attention to change your life forever.